Hello everyone, I'm Big Ben. Today I will share with you the precautions for the use of optical modules, mainly to explain the common faults and solutions of optical modules in the daily applications. Okay, first, let's make an introduction to light module. Under the influence of the rapid development of the current network, optical modules are constantly updated and iterated. At present, there are various optical modules on the market, different packaging types, different transmission bandwidths, and transmission distances can satisfy users in different scenarios. For switches and routers, the optical module is a small thing. It is relatively simple to use. As long as the model is selected, no additional configuration is generally required. Just insert the optical fiber, but similar things are, the easier it is to overlook the problem. In fact, the optical module silently having suffered a lot of problems that were not caused by itself. It is a trivial matter to replace the optical module. However, judging from the adverse consequences such as network failures caused by the improper use of optical modules, it's a big outweighed. Through the analysis and statistics after the reading of faulty optical modules in the market, it is found that irregular operations during use often lead to module failures. In actual applications, optical module failures fall into the following four categories. 1. Dust and foreign matter contaminate the optical port. 2. The computer room uses non-standard optical fiber to damage the optical port. Third, the received optical power of the long-distance optical module exceeds the standard. The fourth, the ESD electrostatic discharge is damaged. So, how to solve these faults? Let's take a closer look next. First of all, the first type of problem is that the inner interface of the optical module's optical port is contaminated by foreign matter and dust. Fine dust may cause intermittent errors or even interruption of the optical fiber connection. Therefore, check each optical fiber, each optical module, and its interface before connecting. As shown in the red circle, the common LC and MPO interfaces are contaminated by a large amount of foreign matter and dust, and a large amount of foreign matter in the surface blocks the optical outlet or the optical inlet, so that the light cannot be transmitted normally, causing network failure. Okay, the main reasons for such problems are as follows. 1. The optical port of the optical module is prematurely or directly exposed to the environment, so that the dust foreign matter enters the module and causes contamination. 2. The interface of the optical fiber connector user used is not protected, and it has been contaminated before inserting the optical module, which will cause secondary pollution of the optical port of the optical module after insertion. How can we avoid such problems during the use of optical modules? 1. Keep the environment of the computer room clean, without obvious visible pollutants, and meet the requirements in the product manual as a whole. 2. After the optical module is inserted into the switch, keep the optical port plugged into the optical fiber it inserted. 3. Keep the protective cover for the optical fiber riding in the computer room until the optical module is inserted. 4. During the installation or debugging process, if you need to plug and unplug the fiber multiple times, you need to protect the fiber interface to avoid damage or dust. 5. If the interface of the jumper is not protected by a dust cap, before inserting the optical module, it is best to clean the interface of the optical fiber with a dust-free paper or fiber interface cleaner before inserting the optical module. The second type of problem is the use of non-standard fibers in the equipment room to damage the optical ports, mainly for the LC interface fibers. If non-standard fibers are used, the components in the optical port may be damaged during the insertion process. It interfaces with the inner wall of the optical port and may cause debris, causing the port to block. Therefore, we must use standard optical fibers when using optical fibers in the computer room. For the judgment method of non-standard optical fibers, we can check the pin positions of the optical fibers to confirm, as shown in the figure. The left figure shows the pin positions of standard optical fibers are chamfered, and the right figure shows the fibers are not chamfered. The third type of problem is that the received optical power of the long-distance optical module exceeds the standard, and that there are often long-distance optical modules, especially the failure radius of 40 km and above. After analysis, it is caused by the overpower and overcurrent of the APD chip at the receiving end. Long-distance optical modules has strong laminar power. If they are interconnected in a short distance, the APD in the receiving end of the module may be burned. That is, the application received optical power is higher than the saturated optical power of the module. For example, the module receives -4 dBm light, which is higher than module -6 dBm saturated optical power. For this type of problem, our principle to solve the problem is to prohibit inserting the optical fiber before the received optical power is confirmed. The main points are as follows. 1. Do not connect the optical fiber immediately after installing the above-mentioned long-distance optical module to the device. First, use the command line to read the optical module's receiving and laminar power threshold. 2. If possible, first use an optical power meter to test that the received optical power is within the normal receiving range, and then connect the optical module. 3. When using long-distance optical modules, the received power should be reserved more than 3 dB compared with the receiving sensitivity. If it is not satisfied, an attenuator need to be added. 4. Under no circumstances can you directly perform look-back tests on long-distance optical modules. If necessary, you must connect an optical attenuator to ensure that the received optical power is within the receiving range. The last type of problem is ESD damage. ESD, or electrostatic discharge, is a process with a very fast rise time. ESD can generate large and strong electromagnetic pulses. Static electricity can attach dust, change the impedance between the lines, and affect the function and life of the product. ESD can even damage the components and make them unable to work. ESD is inevitable in daily use, in addition to improving the ESD resistances. of electronic components. It is important to regular operation. For electrostatic protection, we need to pay attention to the following during the use of the module. 1. The related equipment used shall be grounded at a common ground point connected in parallel to ensure the shortest ground path and the smallest ground loop. It cannot be grounded in series, and the design method of connecting ground loops with external cables should be avoided. 2. Keep the environment within the humidity range of 30 to 75% RH and avoid too dry indoors. 3. Do electrostatic protection work. When operating the optical module, such as bring an electrostatic ring or put your hands in contact with the chassis in advance to release static electricity. When starting the optical module housing, do not touch the optical module pins or guide figures. 4. When transporting optical modules, it is recommended to use anti-static packaging and anti-static turnover boxing. Well, the common faults and solutions of optical modules are now explained. Do you all understand? Finally, let's recap today's key content. 1. Before using the optical module and optical fiber, be sure to keep the optical port plug and protective cover until the optical module is inserted into the optical fiber. 2. Avoid using non-standard optical fibers in the construction of the computer room. 3. Under no circumstances can you directly perform look-back tests on long-distance optical modules. 2. Avoid short-distance interconnection of long-distance optical modules. If interconnection, optical attenuator must be connected. 4. Equipment in the machine room should be properly grounded and electrostatic protection should be done during operation to avoid the influence of static electricity on modules and equipment. Well, I hope you can have a deeper understanding of the use of optical modules through this course. If you want to learn more, please follow the official website of H3C. Thank you. Thank you for your listening.